Integrity is everything for me and how I run my businesses. At the end of the day, I want to feel good about what I'm doing. It's not how much money I make, it's how I make my money. This is the Ask the BCE Show, episode number 19. I'm your host, Kurt Belding. That's the BCE Show. I stuttered. In this show, I would like to talk about time and compounding time. Lately, I know me and Alex have been kind of doing this thing. We watched a Ed Milet thing, and he had some really good points on how to compound 2 or 3 days into one day. But it's always been my thought and philosophy on time is even if you can, it's compounding time. So even if you can add one more hour of the day of a work day in his focused hour, that compounds for that week. That's 5 or 6 hours a week, which is compounded that month, which is 150 hours, if my math is right, around there. Compounded by the day, compounded by the year. And over a year's time, that is a big difference of time on getting something done. So if my project is 500 hours long, it's going to take 500 hours for me to get that done and accomplished. Well, if I'm putting in 6 hours of work a day, it's going to take me longer to get to that 500 hour project, right? But if I'm putting 10 to 12 hours in a day, it's going to cut it down and shorten my time. And you don't have to be working 24 hours a day. Like you could literally just take that even 30 more minutes a day, compound over the week, compound over the month, compound over the year, and you're accomplishing a lot more in life than what you think you can be. Man, I just see, and I know we've talked about this too, you guys, like a work day and how many hours you actually work in one work day, right? Like, now if you're working for somebody else and you're supposed to be there at 8 a.m. and you go home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I get it. Like, show up at 8 a.m. so you don't get fired, do the work you're supposed to be doing, take 6 cooler breaks, take an hour lunch break, and in that day, you're probably only working about 3 hours a day. Let's be real about it. Am I right? Maybe 3 hours a day. But if you own your own business, like I own my own business, or if you're in sales, or you're in something where your productivity equals money for you, that should not be your mindset. You shouldn't be working 3 hours a day. Like, I'm going to rewind about a year ago when I was bringing my daughter to school, picking up my daughter every day, and I wasn't doing any work before I brought her to school or after I picked her up from the day, which is fine. And I wanted to spend that family time, and then I wanted to sleep in. But the reality of it is I was only getting about 6 hours of actual work. And when I say actual work, that means that I'm actually progressing and doing something. I'm not getting caught in the weeds of checking social media and scrolling through, liking a picture, staring at, you know what I mean? Like you can get caught in the weeds and you think you're working, but you're not working. But I was only getting 6 hours a day. And if I'm trying to accomplish that 500 hour, whatever it might be, goal, it's going to take me a long time to get there. So lately I've been working compounding 2 days into one. So I would my day starts at like 6 a.m. And from 6 to noon, I get more done from 6 a.m. to 12 o'clock than I'm going to venture to say most people get done in a week, let alone a day. So that's one day for me. And then from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock is a separate day. And then at 5 o'clock is family time on. Sometimes I work a little bit at night for a couple hours just to plan my next day. But, that's a 12-hour or a 10, 11-hour work day, but I'm getting more done in that 11 hours than what most people do in a week. So that's compounding time, guys, is if you're not compounding your time in a day and you're really only working 3 or 4 hours a day, you're not going to reach that goal as fast as you want. And compound time. You can get a lot done between the hours of 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Just being real about it. If you really want it, wake up early and do it. You can get a lot done from 10 o'clock at night to 12 o'clock, till midnight when the rest of the family goes to bed or whatever it might be. Or instead of sitting up watching a whole series of Netflix, spend 2 hours working. You spend those 2 hours working each night over the course of a year, you know how much you can accomplish? It's amazing, right? So Cost compounding time. A little plug, I'm going to do a plug, and I'm going to let you know that's a plug when I do plugs. So one of the things we're doing with Fit Republic is we're having a little bit of problems with finding good quality people that'll stay with us for a career running the retail sides. So I'm rolling out something called a farm program, where baseball used to have a farm program where it was literally farm towns throughout the nation had their own baseball teams. This actually came from, like, let's call it the Yankees, right? From professional, minor leagues, so it was the Yankees, and then we had a minor leagues Yankee program. Below the minor leagues was a farm system. It was the Yankees farm system. So if you can't make the minors, you go play in the farm system. If you're good enough in that farm system, you may be able to get invited to go play in the minors, which then equals playing in the majors. We're rolling out something similar for Fit Republic, where I think the dream nowadays is to own your own business. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but not everybody has the money, the capital to own their own business. I'm one of them. Like, I did not grow up with money. Like, I've had to work a long time and save a lot of money, and I call it walking on water, like magically figuring out ways to open my first business. And I just didn't have a $200,000 to open a business. So the program is guys come in that want to own their own business. They start with us, get their part-time, running a booth, moving towards more full-time in the retail side, which will move into management. If they want to own that business, what we're willing to do as a farm program is you vest 2 years of your life, of your hard-earned sweat, blood, and tears in running that business. If you do really well, you can buy that business with a small down payment of, like, say, $5,000, and that business may be worth $200,000. But you put down $5,000 just to have some skin in the game. When I talked about skin in the game, like, you got to have something in the game. And then you make payments to me. I'll play bank for you. I understand you don't have $2,000 to buy the business. Put down some money. I turn the business over to you. It's your business, and you pay me over time. So I'm really excited about the farm system. I think it's going to give a lot of opportunities to young entrepreneurs that don't have the money. It's going to give a lot of opportunities to older entrepreneurs that want to be an entrepreneur but don't have the money to start their own business, that are in a job, a career that's almost dead end for them, and they suck and they hate that career. They don't suck. They hate the career. The career sucks. And they want to own their own business. That's an opportunity for them to start part-time working for our retail to see if that's something they want to do. And then they move full-time and hand over the company to them, hand over that business, So I don't know. It's a little bit progressive. I'm sure a lot of business owners out there and entrepreneurs want to disagree with that 100%, because that's kind of taboo. It's like, you don't give over ownership of your business. It's just something you don't do. You always keep the entire piece of the pie, and you give incentives to employees to work hard. Well, I'm progressive. I want to do something different. I want to rock the boat. I want people to own their own business. So if that's something they want to do, if that's something you guys want to do, if you're local, shoot, hit me up. Let's start that farm program. So, all right, that was my plug. That was my plug for Fit Republic. Shameless plug. I know we got a couple questions in here that want and need to be answered. So let's hit those questions up, and then you guys live, if you have questions, throw them at me, and I'll do the best I can on answering those questions.
All right. Question number one.
Yes.
I don't know who it's from, but what's the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur?
What's the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur? That's a good question, and that's a gray, I think, confusing line a little bit, where in my mind, a businessman can be someone that owns a business, a part of a business, or even in stuff like business banking or business services or business software. Like, those are business guys. I think about a businessman, like, shoot, he could be working at a bank writing business loans. He doesn't own the business, right? An entrepreneur, here's the biggest difference between an entrepreneur and anybody else. An entrepreneur owns a business of some sort, but takes a much larger financial risk than anybody else. That's an entrepreneur. When you're putting your own money in the game, you're putting your own skin in the game, and you're taking bigger risks than the business banker or than the business, whatever, like the guys selling business software, because they're business people, right? Like, but they're not taking any risk. They're not putting in the money in the game. An entrepreneur actually takes his or her own money, puts it into that business or multiple businesses. And like, if you're like me, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm starting new companies all the time, sometimes to my detriment, sometimes to my benefit, but I'm taking risks, man. That's big risks. That's the difference between a business person and an entrepreneur, is the risk that an entrepreneur takes, which most people won't do. That's just part of being an entrepreneur, though. Next one.
Next one is, what is your 3-year goal?
A 3-year goal. We got a really good 1-year goal, and I don't know if I'll get real specific with it, but 3 years from now, I want our companies to be a lot more financially free. Like right now, we're a little bit tight in the companies. Money's got to be placed in specific ways, and if something bad happened, anything, like you could sue anybody at any time. If we had a lawsuit, or if we had a business just disrupt, like it could rock us pretty good. So my biggest 3-year goal is be more financially free and to be able to have more security with every business we have. Because we have some businesses right now that aren't making a lot of money. They're like breaking even. We have some businesses that are doing well, some are doing okay. I want across the board all those businesses to be super financially free. I want all my staff to be more financially free. I'd like to give everybody raises. I also want to give health care to every one of my full-time employees. I want to set up 401k benefits for everybody. I would like that to actually be done by the end of the year. So that should be rolled out and very strong in 3 years. But here's a good idea. I got this. So you guys live, or you guys watching this on YouTube, comment on this video. Tell me what your 3-year plan is. I would love to hear it, and let's talk about it. So throw me your comments on the bottom of this video. Live, hit it up. What's your 3-year plan? I would love to see what it is. Cool? Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Next one, Bodies by Jason 2. What's the biggest mistake you see fresh entrepreneurs make?
The biggest mistake I see brand new entrepreneurs make is, I don't know if it's a mistake really, and I'll get in some little details of mistake, but the biggest thing is they just haven't been in the game long enough. That's really what it is. Like, you can't learn entrepreneurship out of a book. You really can't learn entrepreneurship from watching someone. Here, to be honest with you guys, I can't teach you entrepreneurship. You're watching this video to try to get information to own your own business, or maybe you're in sales and you want to be able to sell more, and you're wanting more information from this video. But the reality of it is, guys, like, I can't teach you how to be an entrepreneur. I can give you some good and helpful information, but that's about it. So I think the biggest problem a young entrepreneur is going to run into is just lack of experience. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fuck up. You're going to put money someplace you shouldn't be putting money. I went through it all, and I'm still not super experienced in it. I feel like we're talking like fresh entrepreneur, like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I feel like I'm like a sophomore. I'm like a late sophomore. Maybe it's a summer break sophomore. I'm going in my junior year, but like I still have a lot to learn too. I know one huge mistake that I made was Fit Republic apparel. I think it's super cool. I loved it, but I didn't understand clothing at all. I didn't understand that game at all. I invested $50,000 in Fit Republic apparel, and we're probably still sitting on $25,000 worth of apparel that we didn't move, and I didn't realize, because in order to get the best deal, I had to buy in bulk. So I had bought all this apparel, but I didn't realize, we're gonna run out of larges really fast, and then what are we gonna do? We can't just reorder larges at okay, give me 100 larges. No, we're gonna have to order 10,000 larges when we haven't recouped that money yet, because we're sitting on XLs, double XL, smalls, and extra smalls of that shirt. So that was a big mistake that I made as a younger entrepreneur. It was a couple years ago that I realized and learned now. And I would never have known that unless, one, I had a real good mentor that was in the clothing business that told me not to do that, or I just did it, fucked up, realized my mistake, and learned from it. So it was Jason, right, that asked that question? Yep. So yeah, Jason, man, the biggest mistakes I see young entrepreneurs do, it's just being young, being fresh. Just start doing shit. Have a mentor. Watch some of these videos. There's a bunch of other guys out there you could watch. Learn as much as you can. Take our failures, learn from them, and try not to make the biggest mistakes. But the reality of it is, man, you're going to make mistakes, and that's the only way you can learn. It just is. Cool.
All right, next one is from Monique Lissick.
Hey, Monique. Yes.
How important is integrity in sales? What impact does it have on the longevity of your business?
Integrity in sales. How important is integrity in sales? It's everything, man. It is absolutely everything. You need to have integrity. If you don't have integrity in what you're doing, business, sales, whatever it is, and we'll take sales because that was the question, you have no longevity at all. It's going to come out. If you're not being honest with what you're selling or how you're selling it, it's going to come out. People are going to know. Let's face it, nowadays, especially with social media, people know a lot more. You can't hide behind your shed anymore. You're out there in the world and people see it. And at the end of the day, it's about how you make your money, not how much money you make. So I want to be able to sleep good at night and not feel like shit going to bed because I ripped someone off because I lied about what I was selling, or I'm selling some crappy product that I wouldn't take myself. So integrity in sales is everything. Everything needs to be around integrity. And if you fuck up, you made a mistake, call it out. So I made a mistake. Like we have a food company, right? And one of our product was a sweet potato meatloaf, right? Remember that? They just rolled out like last week. Well, our kitchen staff screwed up the recipe and it came out super, super salty. And we're not going to lie about it. We're not going to like say, oh, it must be, I don't know what excuse we can make, but we can make it. But we don't make excuses. Say it's our fault. We fucked up. It's too salty. Don't eat it. We'll refund all your money. We're sorry. We made a mistake. It's our fault. You know, like integrity is everything. Everything. It's not how much money you make. It's how you make your money. 100%. Cool. Any other questions on live?
I've got nothing
All right.
on Facebook.
Let me check the lives real quick on my end, and then if that's it, I think that's it. So that is Ask the BCE Show episode number 19. You guys, if you like this content, do me a solid. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, ring the little bell so you see these videos coming across. Again, this is 100% free information. I'm not asking for anything. I do make a plug every once in a while like my farm program, but hey, who wouldn't, right? So episode number 19 BCE, thanks for watching.